Hi everyone, I hope you guys have been having an awesome year so far. The last video I think I did was about last fall, probably a couple weeks before Halloween. So a lot's been going on in our lives lately. Mostly we've been dedicated to work, and you know, I don't know if you guys know if this is the first time you've been watching, but my wife and I are actually in the mortgage business, and we work for Gold Financial Services. She's getting finished up with a client right now, and she told me to that they were walking out, so they're just doing their goodbyes and everything. It'll probably take another 5 to 10 minutes, and I'm super excited because at Gold Financial we have an opportunity to do a lot of non-traditional mortgage products that are able to reach a larger spectrum of borrowers that, you know, traditional banks and lenders do not offer. And I'm very, very proud to represent Gold Financial because, you know, being in the mortgage business is a very cutthroat and tough business to be in because we are commission based. Just like realtors, we don't get paid until we close loans, but unlike realtors, we don't get paid at the closing table. We actually get paid a couple weeks in the arrears. So we have to always constantly be closing loans, for one, to be able to sustain ourselves on a completely commission-based business. But at the same time, Gold Financial offers us, as mortgage professionals, it offers us an avenue to where we don't have to worry so much about, you know, our loans not getting approved, or, you know, there'll be issues in underwriting and processing because of the fact that so many people that work for Gold in you know, the behind the scenes that you don't see, because most borrowers only get to, you know, see maybe their loan officer, their realtor. They wouldn't, you know, meet the processor, underwriter, and things like that, or the closing department. So with that being said, it's like they're so professional, they, you know, but they, at the same time, they have great relationships with the loan officers. I don't know if you guys know this, but Gold Financial is basically a family business. A lot of the loan officers that work for Gold are either related to, you know, some of the staff, or you have a lot of husband and wife, mother, daughter, son, mother, father, daughter kind of combinations within the company itself. And there's just so much opportunity for growth. I'm just really, really stoked that I'm able to be a part of this. And I want this year, instead of, like, you know, we always do these videos and these advertisings and marketing for the recruitment of home buyers and borrowers, but I think that there is a very viable need for loan officers, because I'll say this, I know for a fact everyone in the world is either a realtor or trying to get their license or trying to invest, trying to do something in real estate. And what I've noticed is that there is a large outnumbering of realtors to lenders. And for lenders, that's kind of a good thing, because you know, for every, you know, loan officer, there is several realtors. So the realtors are the ones bringing us business. But at the same time, it's hard to be a realtor, because what I've noticed is that, you know, in a month, let's just say we do $700,000 or $800,000 of production. That means that we're closing on that, you know, all of the sales prices of the houses we're closing on are adding up to $800,000, right? You know, a couple deals might be with one realtor, one or two might be with another, and one might be just one for the third. So although we're getting a volume, these other people are not doing as much as us, even though we're really on the same level experience-wise, and we've been in the business. We're actually making more than them because of the fact that we're being able to draw in more. So that's one of the benefits that I can see, people being able to make more money in the mortgage industry. However, that's not always true, because let's just say you're a realtor and you want to become a lender and you weren't closing very many deals as a realtor. Well, you're going to probably run into the same issue at first, because it takes time as a mortgage lender to, for one, establish yourself, your reputation, to build your network. Those things in itself has taken my loan officer and my wife, Princess Butler, a couple years to establish. And her numbers over the years have slightly increased, but what I found is that the people that we work with, like the realtors that we work with that bring us business, they're our friends. They're there for everything. Some of them come to our wedding. We invite them over, to hang out sometimes. That's the type of friendships that we have with our business partners. And a lot of these realtors out here, when they're getting started, they don't have a reliable lender. And the only way to really find out if someone is a reliable lender or not is honestly just to do business with them and close a deal and see how it works. That's normally how it works. But for someone starting out, if you can't close in real estate, it's going to be just as hard to hustle in closing mortgages or closing deals, because there's so many components that go into it and everything. But I will say, a couple years ago, I was working as an executive assistant for a top appraising company, a real estate appraisal company in San Antonio. And I did that for about 8 months, and I really enjoyed it to an extent, because I felt like I was doing my part and everything. I mean, my part as far as I felt fulfilled in what I was doing, because I know these appraisers were going out, they were appraising these houses, and that's why these companies were able to lend on these homes, because of these appraisals, right, that were making value. So I'm just wow, this is so awesome to be a part of. And in my life, I've always thought about my potential, and wherever I go, I'm the type of person that's okay, I'm never too good for any situation. You know what I'm trying to say? So this appraisal office was a little bit dingy, but they did good business. They had a great reputation. And so I did my best to be able to be a service to those people to the best of my ability. The thing that I was doing was basically receiving dozens and dozens of appraisal orders every day. And for the head appraiser, I was dictating his schedule, routing, mapping, on a map, scheduling his appraisal appointments when he would go in, turning in his appraisals into the portals for him so that the lenders could receive them through the AMCs, or appraisal management companies. And, I thought that everything was all good. You know what I mean? I never thought that being in the mortgage business could be more lucrative, or if there was even a possibility, because I was cool. I wasn't making very much money, but I also wasn't doing anything that was really that hard, What ended up happening with that job was I ran into some issues with some of the people who had been sending orders, confused my kindness for, the appraisal orders confused my kindness for weakness. And there was kind of this situation where the appraisers were getting so much work, and it was very overwhelming for them, but they were also making money, and they weren't previous, I guess, to like when the person before me was there. And that's not necessarily a bad thing, because what I'm realizing is she wasn't trying to up the ante and accept all these orders from everywhere because of the chaos that would ensue when all these people start messing up, turning orders in late, saying they're going to take an order, then they don't take it, things like that. So I got myself into a situation where an appraiser said they would do an order. The AMC sent it over the following morning, and by that time it was the next business day. They either didn't want to do the order anymore, or they just decided like it's too much and we're not going to fuck with it. We're not going to mess with this one. So they declined it. So this particular AMC calls me up and they're like, hey, you said so-and-so would do this appraisal order. And I said, well, I did, and I'm not sure what happened, but let me find out. So I find out, they're like, no, you asked this about yesterday, 3-4 o'clock. Today is 10 a.m. the next day. You know, we got several orders that we accepted between 3 p.m. and 5:30, and now we can't do it anymore because you never sent the order. Oh gosh. So I was put in a position to where I kind of did not know what to do, but what I did was I tried to basically let her know, and it's your fault, not the fault of the appraiser, because you didn't send the order over within the same business day. And it's just like it's unfortunate, it was a misunderstanding, and they could still do it, but it wouldn't be due on the day that originally was requested, the due date originally requested. She started, this particular person started emailing me really nasty stuff, and me being the kind of person that I am, that doesn't like to stand like for bullying or anything like that. And she had been really super rude to me. She said something in an email to me like, are you new? Where is Clarissa, which was the person that was before me? Like, as if I didn't know what I was doing. I had been in that position for months now. And as far as I knew, the company had been doing excellent since I was in that position. They probably, I don't want to say anything that's specific, but I just know that they were doing a lot better as far as numbers. With that also came more work and more stress, which in hindsight, if I would have realized that this was going to create a problem by helping grow the business, that I wouldn't have taken it upon myself to make such a great effort to make sure that, you know, these people had work, you know what I mean? So, which, you know, I can go into the whole appraisal story in another thing, but in this video I just want to talk about kind of like how I got into the mortgage business, like how it's benefited me, and like why I love the company that I work with. So anyways though, so I said something in an email to this rude lady, and who was questioning like why I was there and if I was new. And I said something to the effect of like, you're very extremely rude, and you know, Clarissa is not going to be the one to assist you, it's me, and it seems that you have a problem with me, and at my earliest convenience I will be reporting you to your management, and I will and also the nasty rude things that you said to me were on a recorded line, and that will also be presented to your manager. That wasn't true. I was just saying this because, and I shouldn't have done it. I was just like, basically, and I wasn't even gonna do it. I just wanted her to calm down, like treat me with some respect, right? So she flies off the handle. She starts getting scared. She sends an email to the appraiser that rejected the order, and instead of like coming to me about it, he shows it to the boss. Like, what the hell is this? He shows it to the boss, which I understand. I mean, they have a longer and deeper set relationship than me, but I mean, I figure since I'm the one that's basically giving you these orders, and you used to make $2,500 a month and now you're making $8,000 a month. I mean, I thought I was doing you a favor, or, you know, I thought I was doing my job by including you in the rotation, you know, because there's so many, when in an appraisal company, there's so many people that they all have different levels of work ethic. So it's hard to always give the same amount, because 7 orders for 1 week for one person might be just enough. To someone it's not enough, and to someone else it's too much, you know. So, you know, I was put in a really bad position, and I should have probably like asked for help. But what ended up happening was I got such bad anxiety, because when they confronted me about this thing, like, they put me in a room, they locked the door. I mean, and for somebody like me who has anxiety, and I do struggle with social anxiety and depression, I don't like to put that on other people as much as possible, or even allow them to sense that there's any type of uncomfortability. So, but this was not the first or the second time that they had done this to me. But this was the first time that it was my fault. But they had shoved me in a room, do like this to me, close the door, so for dumb shit before. So when this was coming, I had a feeling like it was about this email, but I wasn't sure. So my boss pulls up the email, and he says, "Sidney, like, what happened? They must have really pissed you off." And at first he was kind of laughing about it, because he goes, "I know how you know, kind and professional you are, but like, you can't be doing this, and this is why." He pulls up like this whole spreadsheet of like where he gets his business, and like a high majority comes from this specific lender in this AMC that orders appraisals from him. So I said, he asked me why, and I told him, like, I really don't know. Like, I felt like I was defenseless, and the only thing I could say to her to make her stop were words, you know, and I'm like really quite embarrassed, but I don't know what else to do but say sorry, you know. So he was like, "Okay, that's fine." And he was like, "But just don't do it again. If you have issues, like, ask, or, you know, like, whatever." And I also explained to him about being in a position where we're getting an influx of orders, and we don't have enough appraisers or willpower of appraisers to complete these things, and it's putting the company in a position to where it looks like we're too busy. And, you know, there had been some talk before that we don't want to appear as we're too busy, because they'll stop sending us the orders. So, you know I did the wrong thing, but it led me to something greater. And my wife at the time was processing for Gold Financial, because my father-in-law was a branch manager and a top producing loan officer at Gold Financial. So she was like managing his book of business with processing. He had a you know, really big thing going on at that time, and so, you know, she really needed to step in to help. And she had her loan officer license originally, but what ended up happening was I gotta finish this story later though, guys, because she's coming out by. Hi everyone. Okay, so I'm gonna finish the story I was telling earlier. Okay, so Princess was processing at the time for Gold Financial. She also was a license holder for her mortgage loan originator license, and but we were still working on like her brand presence. She wasn't really like at that time getting so much business to where like she could be a loan officer full time. So what ended up happening was she ended up starting to get some leads and start generate her own business, and she was kind of tired of processing. So her dad ended up hiring like some other ladies in the office to help, and she was supposed to train them, you know, basically like on what to do in order to like learn her job so that she could become a full-time loan officer. But what ended up happening was, while I was working at the appraisal office, like it wasn't going as planned. So we were both kind of stressed out. So when all that appraisal office thing happened, with that specific order, and then like I got in trouble or whatever, I was just like so overwhelmed with anxiety at that point in my life that it just wasn't worth it to me. You know what I mean? So I literally walked out, which is something that I do have regret about. But at the same time, like, it led me to something greater, which ended up being, I ended up helping Princess develop a brand presence online. Probably like we started doing posts and just started putting her out there, like on social media and like on her Facebook and Instagram and LinkedIn, a couple years ago. And I was convinced that like I could help her even though I wasn't working, for her as her assistant, because there was a time where like after the appraisal office, I really just didn't want to do it. I wasn't sure what I wanted to do, if I wanted to be a realtor, if I wanted to be in the loan business, or if, I wanted to just like do something completely different. So that was just something that I started doing, just like writing articles and posting things, loan related things to, let people know that Princess existed out there as a loan originator. And one day we were just driving in the neighborhood and we saw this like listing, and it was like a townhome, and we ended up calling the agent, and it was for one of our clients was shopping in one of the price ranges of that townhome was in. They did not like the area we came to find, but basically we were just inquiring about it, and she was like so impressed that, we were the lender that was looking out for the client who was looking for a house in that price range. She was like, let's do an open house. And her and Princess ended up becoming really good friends in the business, and they ended up doing a lot of business together for like that whole year. And about I would say midway through that year, there was another realtor that we were working with who was basically he was starting to like CC me on my regular email account, and I guess was CCing like Princess' dad, who is her branch manager. It just was a big coincidence that like right around the time he met Princess and I through like social media and marketing and stuff, like they had a deal that closed with Princess's dad. So like, I don't know, he thought it was just like one big entity at that time. So I guess like he said something to the realtor, who said something like, don't include Sidney. And then of course he was like, well, I think, she's a part of it, so we should be included. So basically from that point forward, Princess was just like trying to get me an email address. And then it came to be that like, oh, well, she can't have an email address if she's not employed there. So we'll just do it to where she's like almost like a contractor, and the loans I bring in would be the ones I get paid on. But then what happened was they said, no, we can't do it like that. She has to like have a base salary, a minimum base salary at least, and then a compensation thing on top of that. So all these things came into our life that we didn't really ask for, but it happened in like a good way, So we're like, okay, so then now I became her assistant, and then now I was able to have an email and have business cards and like market without people saying like, why is, this other lady posting that may or may not work for the company. So that's what happened. It only took a couple months to do that. And by the end of that first year, we had done pretty good. But she still, because she wasn't able to train those new people to take over her job, she was still being stifled a little bit by having to process. So she wasn't able to focus on her loans, which really frustrated her like at that time. But it was still, we were still doing okay. And so That's basically how we got in the loan business. The next year she said, I want to do 100% commission and I'm not processing anymore. So they ended up finding a processor for everybody to go to from that point forward. And Princess just basically, from when she made that declaration, there was only like a couple times after that where that she had to answer, processing emails and processing related, details about loans and things that weren't her loans. So she was happy about that. And so basically that's how I got in the mortgage business, how I started working with them. And so, yeah, that's how it happened. And although, it never really was planned originally, I was going to be supposed to be like a realtor or something, or, find something else to do that may or may not be related to mortgages or real estate, but really happy that this is where we're at. And at the same time, I feel like one of the best parts about being in this industry is being able to set your own schedule. I mean, Princess and I primarily work from home, and she 90% of the time where she goes somewhere, I don't really have to. So I'm able to use my time to always think of the next step or what we're going to do. And Princess and I sit and talk a lot about what we're gonna do next, and we try not to do what everyone else is doing and try to be like trendsetters for on the marketing social media side. So yeah, that's basically how I got in the mortgage business. But you know what, it's been fun. I mean, I feel like I've been in it longer than that because of the fact that previous to me working with Princess, she was studying for the exam. There was a time that I was studying for it too. It just went over my head, and I was like, you do it by yourself, because it wasn't something that I wanted to do, but I like what I do now, because what I do now is basically find houses of our realtor partners that are, listings, and, work with realtors of previous deals on the other side that we've worked with, and we help market their listings. We share information about loans from time to time, the guidelines, and just basically let people know that you can get pre-qualified to purchase a house, and when you get pre-qualified, that's how you know how much you can afford to purchase, basically. And that's the first step. But we basically, with our Facebook stuff that we do, we have two groups, and one of them is called Modern and Unique Texas Homes. And basically in that group is the group that we post most of our affiliate listings, and we have some home inspectors and some owner finance people that we work with in that group, just various services that even landscaping that's posted. And I think we almost have 1,000 people. We actually used to have way more, but something happened with the group, and I'm not sure what happened, but one day I looked and we were a little bit under 1,000, but now we're about at 1,000 again. And so if you guys are interested, you can check our Facebook out at Modern and Unique Texas Homes. You can search for Gold Financial Services Butler Group, our business page if you want. And it's kind of starting to get dark here, but I just wanted to finish that video. And yeah, if any of you guys are interested in getting pre-qualified to purchase a house, or if you just want to run your financial scenario by Princess to see, what you might be able to do in the near future. We also have a credit simulator if you're a marginal client and you're not exactly there yet. We have a credit simulator that can tell you exactly what steps to take, the things that you can pay off or get off in order to qualify to purchase a home. And what else? And so if you have any questions about, home buying or the home buying process, definitely let me know and I'll be happy to help you. Another thing I wanted to say, what else was I going to say? Well, I'll just save it for next time because I don't remember. But thank you guys for watching. Bye.